Alrighty, guys. Today I'm going to show you how to actually find solid sales reps that not only produce, but also stick and they're not completely churning. Biggest thing is in 2025, there are more options than ever. Um, there's so many different tools out there, but there's a lot of them that are either number one, overpriced, or number two, a lot of these people, they're just complete talk. Like the sales reps that you get, they're just not well vetted. So in today's video, I'm going to go over number one, what actually works, whether that is, a free tool, a paid tool, or an agency-based model. So number one, that is a free method, is going to be Facebook groups. So good thing about Facebook groups is there's different communities, and this is a great way to find hundreds of thousands, I'd say probably tens of thousands of people all in one spot, to where you can either cherry pick or actually make posts. For example, if you can see my screen here, there's a bunch of different groups, high ticket closing and appointment setting. Obviously, if you're selling B2B, it's not high ticket, but there's still people who are looking for sales jobs. This might be a little bit better one: daily sales jobs, appointment setter, closer, and SDR opportunities. So this is, 19,000 members. Here's another high ticket group. You can find cold callers in these groups. But cool thing about this is there's other business owners as well as there's other sales reps making posts. Maybe there's some sales reps making posts in this group where they're saying, hey, here's my experience. I've done 2 years of software sales or 3 years of B2B sales. I'm looking for a position with X amount of credentials. You can reach out to them directly, or you can make a post to where you can actually have people come to you. So for example, this guy, hiring an appointment setter. As you can see, this guy is looking for a high ticket position. So, with 19,000 people, it's really an underrated tool to where you can reach, tons and tons of talent. Biggest thing is you want to be vetting because it is a free tool. You're going to get a lot of applicants. A lot of times, I'm able to get, 30 plus applicants at a time. But biggest thing is you want to make sure that you are actually filtering out these people to ensure that they're good. Number two for free methods is very obvious. This one's making social media posts. So in this one, it's completely free for you to just post on your story, especially if you're posting business content and things like that. It's really good, especially if you have, not only if you're posting business content, but also if you actually have a good personal brand and a good audience. You can talk about your team culture, you can show leaderboards and actual income potential. And this is a big one too, because if you're looking for a specific person, like if you're not looking for a complete pussy, for example, hopefully no complete pussies are for you, to where you can really filter out and really only attract type of people that you want in your organization. The third method is going to be school communities. So just like Facebook groups, I got logged out of my school community. Typically I'd show you on here, but very simple. There are sales groups out there like the high ticket or SDR groups on Facebook, to where there's not only business owners posting for different roles, so you can post on there, but also there's people looking for roles as well, posting, hey, this is John. I have 2 years in B2B. I'm looking for a company in SaaS, things like that. So that is number three. Number four, same thing. There's different Discord servers, and it's all the same. You can find really hungry people or guys that are newer. Really just depends. Biggest thing with these free models is you want to make sure that you're actually filtering out the right people. The fifth tool, which I'm not really sure why people don't know about, is going to be Remote Rep. RemoteRep.com is honestly very, very underrated. At first, I thought it was going to be a paid tool, but they do offer a free plan to where you have your own hiring dashboard. There's a hiring center. You can make posts. And all in all, I've gotten pretty solid people. It's a very cool dashboard, as you can see here. You can make different job postings on here, as you can see, hiring closers, B2B SaaS, freight broker. You can create an application builder on here, which is pretty awesome. You can browse different talents, so you can go through countries. Maybe if you're, in the UK, you're only looking for people in the UK, you can do that. Or maybe if you're only looking for Americans, you can do that as well. So you can filter out here, US only, and then it'll actually show you which guys are in the US. And you can do different filters. Maybe you're hiring for 3 different positions. You can click which position works, and it actually gives you a rating based on which one would be the right fit, based on what you're looking for specifically. So when you are making these posts, you can put in, hey, I'm looking for this type of person with these type of skills and these type of experience. So when you go to the hiring center, or when you're going to browse talents, you can actually see what's going to be the best fit. Then you can do different filters here. You can do education, years of experience, different industries, the roles they've worked in, sales types, different technologies that they use, things like that, to where it makes it very, very to top guys. So for this one, it's like this guy's an 89% match, meaning for this role and for the experience and the technologies and the type of person that I'm looking for, this guy is the top match. And then essentially it just does an ascending model to where the farther you go down, the less and less of a match it is. But this makes it a lot easier for you to find people. Maybe if you're using, Salesforce, for example, it's like, I want to work with people who have 2+ years in software sales, have experience with Slack and Zapier and Salesforce. And then you can put in a very, very a filter, and then it'll actually give you a match. So this is remoterep.com. Definitely use this on a day-to-day basis, and it's completely free. They do have a paid model, which I'm sure they go out and actually find these people for you. But even with the free model, it's better than most recruiters that I've used. Okay, so that's remoterep.com. I definitely recommend it for sure. Now, the last one that's, typically free is going to be LinkedIn. Not only can you make posts on LinkedIn, but there's also job postings as well for LinkedIn. The one downside is after a while with the job postings, they typically charge you, and they typically want you to put in a spend. It's kind of like an ad spend. And I've had problems with that to where I've spent, maybe $300+ trying to find a particular type of guy for a sales position, and I got 0 applicants whatsoever. So that's a thing. LinkedIn's solid, but definitely would not be the best option. All right, so those are the free options. Now we're going to kind of break down the paid options. And these are for when you're really, really fast. One is going to be Closify. So from what I know, Closify is a pretty solid place. It's pretty similar to Remote Rep. It's essentially a marketplace for both business owners to post their job postings, but for also sales reps to go out and post their accolades and what they're looking for specifically. One downside is it's not free. So typically, at least what I know, I haven't used it, but from what I know, it's typically $1,000 per setter and like $2,500 for closer. Now that could, but that's, as a business owner, typically what they charge. If you're a sales rep looking for a position, I think it's like $50 a month. So, I know the guys who own it. This guy, he's a pretty smart dude, but it definitely comes with some costs. So unless you're looking to book out, maybe $5,000 for your sales team, I would go with the free options instead. 2 is going to be recruiters. There's recruiting agencies. And honestly, a lot of these are expensive and they're hit or miss. There's a lot of guys that they're saying, hey, we'll charge 10% of, their OTE, or they're looking for, $5,000 up front. If you're new, a recruiter would probably be the last person that I'd work with. Okay. Number three is going to be Facebook ads. Facebook ads, a lot of people don't think about it, but I've had good success scaling extremely large teams using Facebook ads, to where, especially if you have a different type of business that's more unique. For example, for one company, I was getting about $3 leads, and I'd say I onboarded probably like 40 or 50% of those people. And I'd say out of those 40 to 50%, they stayed on average at least 6 months. So pretty solid. But it's not just Facebook. It also has to do with your messaging, also has to do with your interviewing, and all that. But if you're really scaling per se, let's say you're looking for 50 to 100, this is a good way to do it at scale for the cheapest, because doing it free on some of those platforms, a lot of times it's just a lot harder to fill 50 to 100 spots. But if you're really looking to build out a very, I would definitely suggest working out some recruiting ads on Facebook. Alrighty, so the hybrid strategy. Alrighty, so there's sales agencies out there. Look, it really depends on what your end goal is for this business. And there's also both good and bad sales agencies. I know a lot of guys who, I see on Instagram. They seem to be good guys. I'm not sure how their recruiting is, but I do know people who have really good sales agencies. I also know guys who are closers for 5 months and they started their own sales agency or recruiting agency, and they're absolute dog shit. So just take this with a grain of salt. Definitely do your vetting, and it really just depends on what you're looking for specifically. There's some recruiting and sales agencies that they charge upfront retainers. Maybe they're charging $5K a month for them to build out your team, or there's some groups that they're charging $500 to $1,000 per rep. And then lastly, there's more guys that are looking to build with you and partner up with you, to where they're asking for equity or partner share. Like I said, I wouldn't suggest one thing or another. This really just depends on where you are in your business and what you're looking for specifically. If you are a completely brand new business, majority of guys are not going to partner up with you for equity or profit share unless they are a complete beginner. And if those guys are complete beginners, they probably are going to give you complete beginner results. If you're scaling super hard and you're absolutely crushing it, then these two options, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But obviously, it just depends on the sales agency. So like I said, do your vetting and figure it all out. So if I'm going to recommend anything to guys that are just starting to, maybe you're a founder that's just getting out of sales, or maybe you have one setter and one closer. If you're more new in this business, here's my offer. I would say start free, validate your process through, number one, actually funneling in solid recruits, actually hiring good recruits, onboarding them, and then keeping them on. Once you validate that, scale that up. And then once you need more help, you can either scale with, paid ads, you can do Closify, you can use those other tools, or you can go the agency route and then fill your volume gaps. So for example, it's like month 1 or 2, hire 3 to 5 reps from Facebook and school. It's completely free. Understand, and refine your onboarding process. And then month 3 and 4, layer in maybe, Closify or recruiting agents like that. And it's like a month 5 to maybe a year out. Once you're really, really solid, it's like you can hire an internal recruiter full time to do these things for you. But At the end of the day, there is no set in stone and perfect way to do things. It's really just dependent on number one, where you are in your business, number two, what you're looking for, and number three, your budget. So that's the biggest thing. The final tip is don't just find sales reps, build a culture and a business that actually keeps them. Everyone talks about sales culture and things like that. While that can be extremely corny, it's definitely a big thing, because if you want to attract, elite level closers and elite level setters or any type of salespeople, you have to be elite yourself as a business owner and as a sales leader. So you want to track your KPIs, run competitions, promote from within. And the biggest thing is elite sales reps, they're attracted by money, but what gets them to stay is momentum within the company. And then also they see that leadership is good and they have leaders that they can actually look up to. If you have a closer who is more of a dog than a sales manager, or the sales manager is more of a dog than the owner, they're going to leave immediately. So whoever's at the top of the pyramid, they got to be constantly evolving and they can't stay complacent. So if you guys have any questions about hiring, recruiting, and interviewing sales reps and actually building out a solid team, feel free to reach out to me. That's exactly what my company does over here. And yeah, that's it. Comment and subscribe.